This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. But first comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 8 in the National Football League. Carolina Panthers at home taking on the Super Bowl defending champion Seattle Seahawks. Two teams that are struggling. Seahawks losers of 2 straight for the first time in a long time. And the Carolina Panthers haven't won a game in almost a month. So they were beat up last week on the road versus Green Bay. Their captain, their leader, Luke Kuechly, thrown out of the game unceremoniously. They're fired up. They're going home. This is a big one. The winner of this game could potentially see their season be turned around because both of these teams right now are struggling. Panthers on the season 3-1, and you have the Super Bowl defending champions at 3-3 on the season. So this is a huge game for both involved. Seahawks can't afford to lose any more games right now with the Arizona Cardinals playing red-hot football. They could run away with this division. And again, the NFC is so convoluted right now that only one team could come out of the West. I mean, it's that crazy right now, which seems like such a far-fetched even scenario. But hey, it could happen. And so if you're Seattle, you got to get this one. If you're the Panthers, you're winning. You're the division leader in the worst division in all of football. All you need to do is win. If you just win some games, you can run away with this division. Nobody wants the division. So it's really yours for the taking. If you want it, run away with it. But it hasn't been easy for this Panthers team this year. Let's talk about this football game. So they put Burnson back on punts. And I cannot tell a lie. I wanted Philly Brown off of punts. I didn't think he served a purpose on his squad. I got my wish. They put Burnson back there, and he muffs a punt. Come on, dude. I lobbied for somebody else to be back there. You can't do me like this. And so what I'm going to do with this game is I'm going to take a close look, and I'm going to keep count of missed opportunities by both teams in this ball game. So Burnson fumbles the punt, muffs it, it's on the ground. Seahawks had a golden opportunity to recover, and they cannot. Ball was loose. They had ample opportunities to grab it, and they didn't. Panthers dodge a bullet, recover the football, and Cam starts the game 3 of 3 for 36 yards with a couple of runs to set up a field goal after a Michael Bennett tackle for a 7-yard loss derails the drive, forces them to kick a field goal. It's 3-0, Panthers on top. So it's a situation where Seahawks have one missed opportunity, so do the Panthers. Panthers drove the football down the field, got all the way deep into Seahawks territory, and had to settle for a field goal. So both teams, again, field goals don't win you games in this league. Touchdowns do. And you know the rule, and so it's one across the board, each team missing a golden opportunity to make a huge play in this game. And we knew coming into this game weren't going to be a lot of points to be had. Both teams have been struggling offensively. Both teams play pretty good defense, even though the Panthers defensively haven't been that strong this year. you could argue that they're still a respectable defense. And so you had to know points were going to come at a premium in this game. And so it's 3-0 Carolina, but it's 1-1 on the missed opportunity scoreboard in this game. Bad punt of 26 yards by John Ryan sets the Panthers up with great field position. And here's another situation where we look at this Seattle Seahawks team and you say, what are some things that they did well last year that they're struggling with this year? Special teams is one of those things where it became second nature to see John Ryan boom a 52-yard punt and see no return because you had to fair catch it, or a 1-yard loss because the coverage was so great. Even John Ryan is having shanks, and these are all things that just aren't the norm for this Seattle Seahawks team. And so they're struggling right now, are the Seahawks. Great field position for the Panthers. Greg Olsen with a big play on a 3rd down. He blocks and goes across the formation. Cam hits him beautifully in stride, allows him to run up the field, get some yards. That was one of the few times you would hear Greg Olsen's name called all day long, which is a problem because the Panthers are very short on playmakers on this football team on the offensive side of the football. Greg Olsen is one of your best. You cannot have it where he's not touching the football 1 or 2 times. He's got to be a bigger part of this offense. He needs to touch the ball 6, 7 times, or at least be targeted that many times in the game. I don't think he was even targeted 5 times in this game. And so that's a problem that the Carolina Panthers must rectify moving forward. But one of the few times you'll hear his name called today, big play, gets down the field. Cam picks up a 1st down on 4th and 1. So Riverboat Ron rolling the dice a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more later on about his aggressive nature or a lack thereof down the road. But at the end of the day, golden opportunity for the Panthers to get in the end zone as we wind up the first quarter. It's 3-0 Carolina on top in this game. KB with a huge drop in the end zone, and this is what I talked about when I broke this kid down coming out of Florida State. I said, hey, you're going to have some huge plays from this kid. He's made way more big plays than he has boo-boos, but this was a huge boo-boo in a game, again, where points are going to come at a premium. This touchdown could have been the difference between you running away with this game going up 10-0 and you having to settle for another field goal. And so some bad blocking leads to a field goal. It's 6-0. I didn't like the play calling on this possession at the end. Here's why. I've said this time and time again. Cam Newton is going to take this team wherever they're going to go. If this team is going to win this division again at 9-6-1 or 8-7-1, whatever the case may be, whatever this division ends up coming down to, if the Panthers are going to win this division, it's going to be with the legs and the right arm of Cam Newton and nothing else. And so for them to turn around and hand the football off on 3rd and goal from about the 5-yard line, inexplicable. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the rationale behind it. You've got essentially 4 undrafted rookies, or excuse me, 4 undrafted players and Khalil, your center. And I know Byron Bell has been on this offensive line at left tackle, so you really don't want to throw him in there and lump him in there with the rest of the guys that are newcomers on this offensive line. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your line is one of the weak spots of this offense. Why are you turning around and handing the football off to Jonathan Stewart when Cam Newton got you down the field and is the guy that's going to get you where you want to go? He should have had the football in his hand. This is what I'm talking about. I talked about that in the Baltimore game where I felt like there was a possession where Cam took the team down the field, they got to 3rd and 4, and they got conservative and ran the football, and you had to settle for a field goal. These are the type of play calls that really irk me, because if you're going to win in this game, you can't be afraid. You can't play scared. And to me, handing the football off on 3rd and goal from about the 5 is scared. And scared money don't make money in this league. And so that whole Riverboat Ron thing, to me, is starting to go by the wayside when you make calls like that. And I know he's not the offensive coordinator, but you got to be more aggressive in that situation. And KB catches the football. We're not even having this discussion, but he dropped it. So you had opportunities to get in the end zone, and I didn't like the play call. And 2 runs after that Kelvin Benjamin drop, you settle for a field goal at 6-0 Carolina. So that's missed opportunity number 2 for Carolina, as KB drops the football in the end zone. Would have been a touchdown had he caught it. So Panthers continue to play conservative as P. Rich returns a kickoff 57 yards. So Paul Richardson gets the opportunity to return kickoffs with the trade of Percival Harvin. So now the young guy is getting an opportunity to get in there and make some things happen. And he breaks off a nice return for 57 yards, close to midfield. And so now the Seahawks are in business with a little bit of field position. And they're able to pick up a couple of first downs. Russell Wilson, it gets sacked though, and it sets up 3rd and 18, kind of pushes them out of field goal range. They're right on the edge, right on the fringe of field goal range, but that sack was huge because now it's 3rd and 18, and the Panthers are playing conservative. They go soft on me. They back off, give the receivers about 12 yards of space. They run a 10-yard route, hook up, and Russell hits them. They weren't looking to pick up a first down. They were just looking to take what the defense was giving them, which was way too many yards. It gives them an opportunity on 4th and 8 to attempt a 58-yard Stephen Hauschka field goal. See, what the Panthers did there was they underestimated the leg strength, and they shouldn't have, because Stephen Hauschka has shown the propensity to knock them home from anywhere on the field. And so they didn't think that the Seahawks would attempt the field goal from 58 yards. But when you play conservative and soft, you give coaches opportunities to make ballsy calls like that, to send their kicker out on the field for a 58-yarder that he drills and makes it 6-3. So Carolina being conservative out there, giving up an easy completion on 3rd and 18 instead of coming up and making it tough like they had done all game long, pitching a shutout to this point. They play soft, they give up 10, and gives the Seahawks an opportunity to try a field goal, which they knock home. It's now 6-3 in this football game. Carolina with another lengthy drive, but this time Cam and Jonathan Stewart can't figure out, wait, who's getting the football here? Cam pulling it out late, Jonathan trying to take it with him. Ball ends up on the carpet. It's recovered by Cliff Averill, and the Panthers were in the Seattle Seahawks red zone. So that's a big no-no. You can't turn it over when points are basically assured to you minus a turnover. I mean, Graham Gano has been absolutely money for you this season. So you got to know, if you don't turn it over, he's going to tack on 3 if you can't get in the end zone. Who's to say you don't get in the end zone? This was a very productive drive to this point. So another missed opportunity for Carolina. That's number 3 in this game for the Panthers, as they're struggling to take advantage of opportunities that the Super Bowl defending champions are giving them in this football game. It's still 6-3 after the turnover. Seattle, after that fumble, embarks on a 13-play drive that ends in an interception in the end zone as Josh Norman is able to pick off a pass that caroms off the fingers of beast mode. Marshawn Lynch should have caught this football, should have walked in the end zone for a touchdown. These are the type of plays that the Seahawks would have made last year, no problems, no questions asked. This year, they're making mistakes. And so this is the type of thing that allows you to feel like this team isn't the same. It's not the same group last year that was cerebral, that would chop your head off. If you gave them an axe, they were going to chop your head off. You put that same axe in the hand of the Seahawks this year, and they don't know what to do with it. They do not know how to take advantage of opportunities. So instead of them taking the lead, or at minimum tying this game up at 6 as we go to the half, Carolina Panthers make a huge play, pick it off. That's our halftime score, 6-3. Panthers still up in this game. Missed opportunity number 2 for the Seattle Seahawks as we head to the break. So score 6-3, Panthers up. The missed opportunity scoreboard reads 3 missed opportunities for the Panthers, 2 missed opportunities for the Seattle Seahawks. This was a very sloppy football game. The last time they played each other last year, it was a 10-6 ball game or something of that nature. That was a well-played game with a lot of defense. This looked nothing like that. Even though the score resembled that game, this game looked nothing like that game last year, which was really good defense. This was just bad football on the part of 2 teams struggling trying to get a win. So we move on to the second half. And Burnson with a 53-yard kickoff return. Look, never ever trust a white guy at receiver that's not 6'2 or 6'3 or 6'4, because you know what that means. Speed! He's going to be fast, man. If he's white and he's playing receiver, he's going to be fast. And so Burnson turned on the Jets, was able to get a big return to help the Panthers kind of jumpstart the offense in the second half. And so it's wasted, however, as Cam Newton throws an egregious, a terrible interception. He's under duress. And they talked about the gift and the curse of Cam Newton. And he talked about him having the gift and the curse of running the football, because knowing when to run, knowing when not to run. And you see this a lot of times with guys that scramble with the football at the quarterback position. They don't know when to give up on a play. Sometimes you just got to know when to say when. Remember those old Budweiser commercials Friends know when to say when. Sometimes you just got to know when to say when, man. Put the football away, throw it away, do something other than what you just did, which is give it away to the Seattle Seahawks. So, great field position wasted by a bad decision by Cam Newton as it's picked off on the play by Burley, the cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks. So now, that's wasted opportunity number 4 for the Carolina Panthers in this game as they are racking up the wasted opportunities. So off the pick, Seattle moves the football down the field. Russell Wilson misses a wide open Cooper Helfelt. They ran this play earlier in the season against Green Bay and it worked for a touchdown where they run the read option. Russell pulls it out. He scrambles out as if he's going to run. And then at the last second when that cornerback bites up on the run, he throws the football to a wide open intended receiver. It worked just like it did in week number 1. The only difference here is Russell Wilson did not execute the play the way that he did the first time when they scored a touchdown off of it. Here's why. When you're running the football, when you're making the motion to run, you got the ball tucked away. You got to make the play look legit. You can't run with the football as if you're going to throw it or else the corner won't come up. So he puts the football away. And then John Gruden talks about this all the time, throwing footballs without the laces. He tried to throw the football without the laces. You could tell he didn't have a firm grip. The ball didn't have anything on it. It dipped into the ground. And so a missed opportunity number 3 for the Seattle Seahawks in this game as Russell Wilson is able to get 14 on 3rd and 8 after that missed opportunity, but a holding penalty forces them to kick a field goal. It's now 6-all in this game. So now the scoreboard reads 6-all in this game, and on the missed opportunity scoreboard, it's 4 for the Panthers, 3 for the Seattle Seahawks in this game. KJ Wright on the next possession drops an interception. Cam Newton was struggling at this point. Missed opportunity number 4. If he picks that off, they are in prime field position to get some points. And who's to say he doesn't get up because there wasn't a Panther in sight on this pass. Who's to say he didn't get up with a convoy of blockers and get in the end zone? You don't know what happens because he didn't catch it. So that's missed opportunity number 4 for the Seahawks. So that ties the scoreboard up there. We're tied on the scoreboard. In the game, we're tied on the missed opportunity scoreboard as well. And so after a shovel pass to Robert Turbin and a beast mode run, both are huge gains for the Seahawks on this particular possession. The Hawks dodge a bullet and then are struck by that same bullet as they get a turnover. They put the ball on the ground before, as Russell Wilson had the same kind of problem that Cam Newton had earlier in the game with Jonathan Stewart, where they're trying to complete that read option, fake handoff, and the running back's going one way, Russell's going the other way. They don't know who's taking the football. Ball ends up on the ground. Luckily enough for the Seahawks, they come back with the football. But this time, it's a bot snap on a 4th and 1 situation, and it's a short yardage situation, whatever it is, either 3rd or 4th and short. Either way, Russell Wilson under center. He never gets the football. Never hits his hands. It hits him in the shin. He doesn't know where the ball is. Panthers recover the football. Big play in the game for Carolina to continue to stay within striking distance, or as a matter of fact, the game is still knotted up at 6 at this point. So it's anybody's ball game with all of these mistakes. So now the Seahawks take the lead for the first time in the missed opportunities category with 5 as they fumble that football as they were on the move getting ready to get some points on the scoreboard. And so now we head to the 4th quarter with the score 6-6 and the missed opportunity scoreboard reading 5 for the Seattle Seahawks, 4 for the Carolina Panthers. Cam avoids a sack and a safety, and Michael Bennett has to get him on the ground here. He went headhunting, and guys kill me with going up top on guys that are mobile. They're going to duck, they're going to spin. If he would have went for the midsection, it's a safety. There's no way Cam is getting away. But he went for the head. Cam is able to duck and avoid him, get out of there, and avoid a sack and a safety, which probably would have been a game-changing, momentous play in this game. Instead, it's an incomplete pass that Cam is able to get rid of and avoid a disaster. And so that's missed opportunity number 6 for the Seattle Seahawks in this football game, as these missed opportunities are starting to stack up like bricks. And so a play later, Cam finds, and look, when you throw it up in the air and you give a chance to a big play receiver like KB, he's going to go up and get it. And so it was on time for Optimus Prime to go up and get the football. 50-yard catch for Optimus Prime as he goes up, snatches it out of the air in between two defenders, one of them being Richard Sherman. Huge play on the gain by Optimus Prime, Calvin Benjamin. And so that was a tremendous play, getting them out of the shadow of their own end zone and helping them set up a scoring opportunity. Leads to a field goal and the lead at 9-6. Panthers clinging to a 3-point lead in this game as we're getting into the later stages of this football game. But look, for all the missed opportunities they've had in this game, the Seattle Seahawks still have dangerous Russell Wilson. And you know what that means. It's money time. So it's time for number 3 to have the football in his hands and create magic, and that he did. 9 plays, 80 yards, in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. He was 4 of 4 on the drive for 53 yards, and he had a couple of rushes for 21 yards. He finds Luke Wilson down the middle of the field for a 23-yard touchdown with 47 seconds left. Seattle takes the lead with the first touchdown of the game for either team, 13-9. Big play, big drive, big time drive, and game-winning effort by Russell Wilson to put his team on top in a game that they had to have. Frankly, they had to have this game. To fall under 500 at this point would be disastrous, would be blasphemy for this Seattle Seahawks team. And to lose 3 straight in the process, don't know what that would have done to the psyche of this football team. So now, 47 seconds left, no timeouts for the Panthers. They're deep in their own territory. They've got to try to get all the way down the field. And so this is a huge opportunity for Cam to stake his claim as one of those guys that, with the football in his hands late in the game, he can make it happen. 2 Bruce Irvin sacks, and he struggled just staying on sides and not being off sides at the snap of the football. This was a huge chance for him to show up, and he did it in a major way. 2 sacks of Cam Newton basically put this game on ice as the Seattle Seahawks pull it out late in the ball game, 13-9. What a win for the Seahawks. What a debilitating loss for the Carolina Panthers. I've already said this. I don't think they're going to win this division. I don't think this defense is good enough, even though the defense played well enough in this game to win and gave the offense every opportunity to win. This was not the defense's fault this week. This was all on the shoulders of the offense, who made mistake after mistake that cost them this football game. And so, tough loss for them. They now dropped to 3-4-1 on the season. Meanwhile, the Seahawks leave North Carolina with their 3rd consecutive win on the road against this Panthers team, and they barely got out of Dodge with a W. But look, a W nonetheless, as the Super Bowl champions, stay within striking distance in the NFC West. And they needed that one because later on in the day, the Arizona Cardinals would take care of business once again. So they needed this win in the worst way, and they got it. So now they keep pace with the 49ers at 4-3. They're now tied with them, and they keep the Arizona Cardinals within earshot. Even though they're 6-1, they're still right there. Haven't played these guys yet all season. Good to know that they're still right there. They slip up a couple of times. You never know what could happen. There's a lot of football left to be played in this season. Great win for the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to do it for Hawks and Panthers. Panthers have to be more aggressive in everything that they do. They're not aggressive enough. Last year when they went on that winning streak, they were an aggressive football team. Everybody was praising Ron Rivera for being Riverboat Ron and going for it. They just aren't that team anymore. He needs to get back to that. Too much conservative play calling offensively and defensively for this team. They got to get back to being more aggressive in everything that they do. That's going to do it for this game. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 8 in the National Football League. See you. Big.